fish, and welcome to another edition of Dan's Fishing Tales. Today I'm going to be showing you how to fish darting style. You can combine this with a straight retrieve or a finger jigging retrieve if you use an open face spinning with the finger jigging. Otherwise you can use a casting like this one right here, or you can even use a spin casting. It's even been done with fly rods, but I'm not going to go into that. We're going to use the casting and we're going to use the spinning, and I'll show you the different ways I do it. First thing is I want to take you to the back here and I'll show you some of my favorite lures. Okay, here's some of the favorite lures. I mean, I use a lot of different types. In fact, a rattle trap will even work good on this, which I might end up showing you how I do that. Very simple, just like I do everything else which you're going to be seeing. This is a TRD, a Z-Man TRD. Now I use this size, and I'll even go with the micro finesse, but also the ones a little bit bigger than this. This right here is a beef fishing rib fin, and this is a very good one for it because it has the action. I don't like using swim baits necessarily, unless they're one like I'm going to show you here in a second. Up here, these are all natural forage bait ones, and these have been just absolutely super. This one right here is a Phat shad, but they also have the T-shad, which is a little thinner than this. And I have excellent luck with that, especially on crappies. And this one over here is an FT shad. That one's good for bass, and say if I want to do this with a Casey's head, a Roadrunner Casey's head, that is really, really good with this one. And I don't use a lot of Roadrunners on this darting, except for, like I said, I'm going to show you this one here in a second. I use right here, this is a beef fishing precision H2O jig head. I use that, and that has been very, very good. I'll also use a 4-inch worm. Now, I'm going to show you this one over here. Okay, here's the one I was going to show you. This has got a swim tail, as you can see. This is a slab dragger. This is with Team Crappie. Now, I will do this darting with this, but this is actually a slow type of a bait. So what I'll do, a lot of times I'll just use a slow straight retrieve and then start the darting. I don't use it a lot with finger jigging because of the tail, but I do it at times if I'm using, again, you have to have a spinning rod in order to do that. And because an open face spinning is the way you finger jig, and I'll probably be showing you a little bit about that, but just go back and check some of these videos. Man, it is windy. We may even move locations, but I'm going to show you the basics of this, so let's get going with that. By the way, we've got Pepper again with us today. He's out here enjoying the sun, even though being very well wind blown, as you can see. So let's get to those rods and that I was showing you, and how we actually do some darting. Okay, we're going to start out with the casting outfit, and this happens to be a KastKing Zepher reel. This is the one for the ultralight fishing, the finesse fishing as they call it, and a handing rod. It's a light action one, but we're starting out with a Z-Man TRD, the finesse TRD, and I'll show you what you do with this. And we may move, well, you know, of course I move all the time anyway, but we may move to a different location. First thing we'll do is we'll go with it, and I'm going to explain that right now so that we get over that part. I've mentioned finger jigging, straight retrieve, and a darting. Well, I'll mix those up, and what I do a lot of times, which I'm going to do right now, is I'm going to start with a straight retrieve. Now that's a minnow to me, and that's why you've seen so many straight tail type lures there that I use. It's a minnow just calmly swimming along, no excitement. Then all of a sudden he might sense some danger. So what he does is he starts going along with the finger jigging, which is more of a, it's kind of a darting, but it's flippant like this all the way along. Then you start the darting where you're going this way. Then he's excited. That can stir the fish into hitting. A lot of times it does it just right at the transition. So that's what you want to do with this, and that's what we're going to do now. And as I said, we may switch locations because it's extremely windy here unless the fish are stacked. And I doubt it because we got a cold front coming through, and that's why the wind. It's coming out of the northwest. Okay, now we're going to just start with a slow retrieve, like I said. And I can't finger jig with this, so we're going to dart it. And you dart it by make sure you keep your rod like this, right to the water. You want to keep it parallel. You don't want it to go up and down like a regular jigging motion. You either keep it straight or you keep it down like this. This will keep it right on the same level that it's at all the time. It's a very fast retrieve, and that's where, like a reel like this, is 7.2 to 1 gear ratio. So a faster retrieve is good for this sort of a thing. Also, like my assassin reels that have an 8.1 to 1 gear ratio. And we use the spinning here in just a second. But you can see you can really go with it. Just depends on how the fish are. Now I show you the spinning and some of the finger jigging, although I've done several videos on that, so all you got to do is go back and look at the other videos and you can see the finger jigging. Put that right here. Hopefully the wind won't close the door on it or we're going to lose a rod. I just almost stepped on pepper. Okay. I'm going to start just like I did before, which is a slow retrieve, and this time we're using a natural forage bait Phat shad in the shad color. And here's the finger jigging right here. You'll notice I got my finger, oops, got hit. I got my finger right here, and it's hitting that line, and it's making the jig bob like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dart, and you can combine the finger jigging with the darting if you want, like this. Now we're going to just go along slow. I don't know if I had a hit or not. And then I'll start finger jigging. And then we'll dart. This is sort of like, well, walking a dog. It's like a spook, that sort of a thing. So it's a little bit different, and same retrieve also that you can use for that Northland tackle thing. They got that ripping minnow, I think it's called. You do the same thing with that. So in a roundabout way, this is a darting procedure, and it will make this go from side to side even. Certain ones. Some it won't. It'll just take them straight like this. It just depends on what they are. And the strike, when you have a strike on the darting, it's usually very hard. And what I'm talking about is not this way, although that happens. But it's just like you hit a rock and you're just dead solid. The only difference is that rock's going to move on you. And so they can be a very aggressive hit, and that's normally what you're fishing for with this darting. So let's see if we can do some fishing somewhere here. I don't know, like I said, I might get out of the wind, but we'll be back and we'll see where we're going to be fishing. There we go. Okay, I was darting and I got one. I don't know what I got. Whatever it is, it's pulling pretty good. There we go. Got a bass out there on a break, is what it was. Not a real big one, but it's a bass. It's a start. And I got it. As you've seen, I was doing a darting action with it. I'd been finger jigging just before that, but Then I started darting. I went away. So the only way the finger jigging would have been the thing is if it had kind of attracted this. This fish is very cold. The water temperature right now is 45, I believe it is. We'll go back out to that same area, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the TRD and see if it makes a difference. Like I said, there's a ledge out there, and there's a weed bed besides. So we've got a couple of things that are holding the fish, but that was on the Phat shad, and I have been doing real good lately with that. So I thought it could have been a crappie, but that put a bend in that B&M Sam Heaton. That's by the way, that rod is a Sam Heaton Super Sensitive, and I just love it for finger jigging. Extremely sensitive too. Very, very good rod. Something I want to bring up about this windy condition. The thing about darting is, and also your finger jigging, anything that you're going to keep your rod down low to the surface of the water like that, it's really good to be doing that in a windy situation, because if you're using a technique of where your line's up like this and a bow in the line is a problem for you, well, with this it isn't, because you're down low. Now yes, some of the wind sometimes can sweep your lure another way, but you're still putting that action on it. So we're still going to continue with this, see what we can do, but we may end up going back to the that Phat shad. Boy, I'll tell you, the wind out here is something. Something else I want to bring up about darting. If you'll notice that I'm not really coming back with any weeds, and yet there's a lot of weeds that I'm hitting. The thing is you hit those weeds with that darting, you're coming along so quick that it's breaking it loose, and a lot of times that's what really makes the fish start to hit. And that's what happened out there just a little bit ago when I lost a couple of them. There we go. Got a crappie. Switched to a different location, a place where I've been catching some crappies, and decided to start this routine I do. I was doing some finger jigging first, and then you can see that one. Got one here just before I turned the camera on, and we'll see if we can get another one here. Well, we got another one. This seems like a pretty good size one. Oh, this one's a bass is why. I thought it was a crappie. Got him on that little Phat shad. Seems like that's what they're going for today. Grabbed that and got hooked just right in the wrong spot. He isn't hurt, it's just pain in the hind end getting it out. Well, we got him out, and anyway, you can see the way this darting works. It works pretty doggone good. Crappies are starting to hit now. Like I said, the water temperature is 45, so it's cool. Another thing too that I want to bring up before we go is that you're tying a knot, of course, on this, and you know how knots will weaken, and they can weaken real quick if you're doing this darting technique. I've noticed that. It's kind of like jigging spoons. If you've ever done those, like I do a lot of that in Bull Shoals, Arkansas, and Bull Shoals Lake. And in fact, if you ever go down there, go to Bull Shoals Lake boat dock. Look up at Ricky Eastwald, a good friend of mine, and he'll put you on the right spot. Anyway, that's down Bull Shoals, like I said. And when you're using those jigging spoons like that, I've found a lot of times that if you don't retie, you're going to lose fish, you're going to lose your jig, you're going to lose your spoon sometimes just jigging like that. Same thing can happen with this, so that you want to retie all the time. And notice I got here's another thing that happens. This is wrapped around that, and it's because of that constant jigging. Your rod tip's going like this, and a lot of times it'll wrap around there, which it did, and it's starting to fray the line over. So what you want to do is, as I said, make sure that you keep retying. Something else I want to bring up too before we go. I had talked about the rattle trap, and the rattle trap, as you've seen the way I did it, there's another lure that you can use the same way, and that's a blitz blade. Blades work real good with that sort of a technique. And so those are a couple of things that I wanted to let you know, like I said, before I let you go. So until next time, I'm going to keep fishing. But until next time, get out on the water and have a great day of fishing. Here we go. Another one right there. As I said, I was going to keep fishing. Get out there on the water, try some darting.